Svitlana stood in front of the mirror in a luxurious hotel room, carefully examining her reflection. She was 35 but looked younger. Long dark hair, delicate facial features, large brown eyes. She wore a black dress that perfectly accentuated her figure and red high heels. In the mirror, she saw a confident woman who knew what she was doing. But deep inside, she felt something else. Doubt, anxiety, even fear. Her husband, Andriy, was loyal and loving. They had been together for 15 years, raising a 10-year-old son. He wasn't perfect, but he always supported her, gave her gifts for no reason, and genuinely cared about her. However, over the last few years, their marriage had become routine. They lived like neighbors, occasionally having dinner together, talking about their child, work, and household matters, but there was no spark left between them. This was what made Svitlana pay attention to Yehor. Several years younger, charismatic, with a sharp mind and penetrating gaze. He worked at the same company as she did, and gradually their communication became personal. It all started with jokes, then innocent touches, and one evening she allowed herself to go further. They had been meeting in this hotel room for weeks now, and each time she felt both adrenaline and guilt. That evening, Svitlana arrived at the hotel again to meet Yehor, but everything felt different. She didn't feel the same excitement, just emptiness. She realized that she wasn't looking for passion, but for a sense of importance that she had lost in her marriage. And as she sat on the edge of the bed, pondering what to do next, her phone rang. Her husband's name appeared on the screen. "Hello," her voice trembled. "Svitlana, where are you?" Andriy sounded calm, too calm. "At a friend's place," she lied, staring at her reflection. "I see," he responded briefly and hung up. Something in his voice unsettled her. She felt that Andriy knew. From that moment on, her world began to crumble. She returned home with a heavy heart, expecting a confrontation, an argument, a scandal. But nothing happened. Andriy behaved as if nothing had changed. He continued to be attentive, caring, even gentle. This tormented her more than any accusations. Days passed and she waited for his anger, but he never lashed out. And then she realized he wouldn't yell, he wouldn't accuse, he would simply leave her. The day came when Andriy walked out of the house, leaving only a short note. "I know everything. I wish you happiness." That was it. No scenes, no reproaches. For the first time, Svitlana felt real fear. She understood that she had lost the most precious thing. Yehor was just an illusion, while her real life was with Andriy, their son, their home. But it was too late. She called him dozens of times, sent messages, went to his office. But he never responded. He had simply erased her. 6 months later, standing beneath his windows in the dark, cold night, she realized that she had lost not only her husband, but also the woman she used to be when she was with him, and that she would never be able to regain what she had destroyed with her own hands. She spent days wandering through old memories, replaying moments of their life together. She remembered the first time they met, the way he looked at her with admiration, the way he nervously held her hand on their first date. She remembered their wedding, the way he wiped away a tear when she walked down the aisle. She remembered how he stayed up all night when their son was sick, how he always knew when she was sad and made an effort to cheer her up. Svitlana visited their old favorite places, hoping to catch a glimpse of him. She waited outside his office, longing for just a word, a look, anything. But Andriy had moved on. He was seen with a new woman, a colleague, perhaps. And it shattered her. She had been the one to betray, but she never expected to be replaced so easily. Desperation took over. She wrote letters she never sent, pouring her soul into words of regret. She spoke to their son, trying to mend the damage, but even he sensed the distance between them. He had chosen to stay with Andriy most of the time, a silent judgment that cut deeper than any words. Then one evening, she saw Andriy at a cafe, laughing with his new companion. He looked happy, truly happy. That was the moment she understood. Her chapter in his life was over. She had written her own tragedy, and there was no rewriting it. And as she walked away, tears streaming down her face, she finally accepted the consequences of her choices. But life had its own way of teaching lessons. A year later, Yehor left her too. What had been an exciting affair had faded into nothingness. She was alone, truly alone, haunted by what she had thrown away. The finality of it all sank in, and she realized that regret would be her only companion now. And sometimes, that was the worst punishment of all. Yet fate was not done with her. One evening, she received a call from an unknown number. A hesitant voice spoke on the other end. It was Andriy's mother. "Svitlana, Andriy is in the hospital. It's serious. He needs surgery. I thought you should know." Her heart stopped. The thought of losing him forever hit her harder than anything before. Without hesitation, she rushed to the hospital, her breath shallow, her mind racing. When she arrived, she saw him lying unconscious, tubes attached to his body. He looked fragile, nothing like the strong man she had once known. Svitlana sat beside him for hours, holding his hand, whispering apologies he couldn't hear. She begged for another chance, though she knew she didn't deserve one. Days passed and Andriy recovered slowly. When he finally opened his eyes and saw her, a flicker of pain crossed his face. "Why are you here, Svitlana?" he asked, his voice weak. Tears streamed down her cheeks. "Because I still love you, and I never stopped." He sighed, closing his eyes again. "Love isn't just words, it's actions, and you made yours clear." She nodded, understanding the weight of his words. But she wouldn't give up. This time she would fight, not for forgiveness, but to prove that she had changed. Months turned into years. Svitlana worked on herself, volunteering, helping others, trying to rebuild the trust she had shattered. Andriy remained distant, but there were moments, small ones, where she saw a glimmer of the man who had once loved her. She knew it would take time, maybe even forever, but she was willing to wait, because some love stories don't end in happy endings. Sometimes the greatest lesson of love is learning to live with the consequences of your own choices and understanding that forgiveness, if it ever comes, is not something you ask for, but something you earn.